the seekers of truth. Just now, Albert has very clearly described to you the mechanism that is within us, which works out our self-realization. There is a mechanism, no doubt. When we are in this room, we see so many lights, and there is a mechanism behind this. But what we do is to just switch on, and the lights are there. So the whole mechanism is already built within us through our evolutionary process. Now we have reached at a point when we have to achieve the result of the evolutionary process. In the West, people had the quest to find out outside this body. I would say that they tried to find out the knowledge about the tree of life. But when the life is found out from outside, you can go up to a point. And the tree can also grow up to a point. You have to go to your roots. This is the knowledge of our roots. It comes from India or it comes from a particular region is not true. India being an ancient country, of course, they have been able to go deep into it. But even in the Bible, you get sentences like, I will appear before you like tongues of flames. And these sentences really looks like tongues of flames. Then in the Quran also, it is there called as Asas, the Kundalini. It describes that you have to be connected with God. Otherwise, whatever you do in the name of God, you will become cruel and you will be disintegrated. It's clearly said. Same thing in any religion that you read, that you have to have your self-realization. Every religion has talked of the spirit. Every religion has said that you must find out your spirit. Now when we are ignorant about the spirit, and there are so many people in the market, which I say as a guru shopping going on, people don't know what to expect and what to find. What is self, what is spirit, and why should we get it? As I said, it is the epitome of our evolution. That you have to become the spirit, and that is the truth, that you are the spirit. If you are the spirit, then you have to achieve that state. By this way or that way, that is your birthright, is born with you. That's why we call it Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja means Saha is with, Ja is born with you. That is the yoga, the union with the divine. The divine is the all-pervading power of God's love, which is the subtle of subtler, all-pervading. It exists in everything, and you have to feel it. That's what we call as the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. Cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. In the Bible, there's no description of Holy Ghost. This Kundalini is the reflection of that Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost is the desire of God. That's the power of God reflected within us as Holy Ghost, as Kundalini, in 3.5 coils, is our pure desire. All other desires that we have are impure. Because we have been desiring for this and that, you know, economic laws are such that in general wants are not satiable. Why? because those wants are not pure. So this is the power of Kundalini which resides in the triangular bone within yourself. Now when I am telling all this to you, you should not have a blind faith about it, but it's an hypothesis. If you are a scientific person, or if you have a very logical mind, then you must understand that you should not close your mind. You should be with an open mind and see for yourself. If this proves, then it's all right. But you should not be a person who is cynical, who is already challenging me, because what I am doing is to give you what you have. Tell you what you have, which is your property. It's your own. I have nothing to do with it as such, but I can't also help it without. This Kundalini has to rise from its seat, which he has shown just now, which is residing in the triangular bone, called as sacrum. Sacrum itself means sacred. That means the Greeks knew about this word, knew about Kundalini, that's why they called it sacred. Now when this Kundalini rises through these various centers, she passes through 6 centers. The 7th center is below her. And this 7th center looks after the glory or the chastity, or we can say protects the mother Kundalini within us. Now the first center is the most important center. And the first center is the center of our innocence. When we try to play with our innocence, this center gets spoiled, which has to protect the Kundalini. And when this center is spoiled, we can get into lots of problems. Nowadays, you can hear a big cry about this killer's disease, AIDS. We have to fight it. It's a wrong thing that we have done. One thing we must accept. And then we have to fight it. It's not difficult to fight this disease if you accept that you have lost your innocence. The trouble is, when people started getting the knowledge of the tree, they really went amok. They didn't know what to do with themselves. Now they are finished with this, they are finished with that, so now eat your nose or eat your eyes or eat your teeth, something like that. A maddening wave rushed into people, and they didn't know what to do with themselves, so they started practicing also sex. I would also blame Freud for that. In India, Freud won't be accepted at all. It's nonsense. Nobody can accept a theory where they say that you have all the time feelings of carnal love for your mother. Of course, this is ridiculous for us. But anything new has to be accepted. That's the modern idea. Anything new that comes to you, we must accept. Anything new may not be all right. The other day we were having a banquet, and I had a neighbor who was ambassador from Mexico. And he told me that, I know you don't like Freud and you like Jung, but Jung talked of the same old thing. I said, same old thing, but something new above it. Evolution takes place in that manner, that first you have the tree, and then you have the branches, then you have the leaves, and then you have the flowers, and then the flowers have the fruits. But if somebody just takes out a flower from somewhere and gives you, then you know that it's plastic. It must have some basis. It must have some tradition. It must be in our ancient books. It should be described by people who have lived before. Suddenly, if Mr. Freud comes up and says some new theory, it's like mushrooms. These people come up and start telling stories, and we believe in them. It's a fungus. Now, so I told the gentleman, I said, all right, we have eaten all kinds of food before. We haven't eaten the table. Why not we eat that? Because it's new. In the same way, everything that is new we started accepting. Because this is new, this is a new idea, we should get to it. And it's mad race, I tell you, it's a real mad race. All our attention goes to all these mad things. For example, now the fashions that have started. These are entrepreneurs who are materialists, who want to befool us. All the time changing one fashion to another to another. Now in England, you won't find anybody with any hair now left. Because poor things, they tried with this, that and that. Lastly, they came to punks. And when I said, now to punks, then what? They said, Mother, you are out of date. Now it is all bald heads. This is what is. We are giving up all our sense, all our thoughts to somebody who is making us play like this. Materialism is for us. We are not for materialism. Matter is for us. We have to dominate this matter. All the time the spirit is dominating the matter. And when the spirit comes up, then it uses matter for its own purpose. It is not dominated by matter. Nobody can dominate a person who is the spirit. But we are so much lost into it, trying new things like mad, jumping from one to another, that we don't see the sense in it, just like eating the table. We haven't got our own ideas. We are reactionaries, or we accept the ideas that are others. If somebody tells us some ideas, we think, oh, it's great. But why it is great? It must be tallied by a few things. First of all, we must find out, does it have any relationship to any tradition, to any ancient books, to any prophets, to any incarnations who came on this earth? They were not all useless people. They were not false people. They were not telling us lies. But we are reactionaries, like we find now. Christianity has failed. The churches have failed. So we react. No. Christianity may fail, but Christ doesn't fail. Like yesterday we had a very interesting couple of people for my interview, and another one was a photographer. The photographer is an ardent Christian. So he said, do you mean to say, Mother, we got everything wrong? I said, no. You love Christ, isn't it? Yes, I love Christ very much. I said, then you'll get it. If you have loved Christ, then you'll get it. But if you are busy with the organizing of Christ, then it's rather difficult. You can't organize Christ. You cannot dictate him. And you cannot use him for your purposes, for making money, for making huge big palaces for yourself. As you can see what's happening now in the Vatican, big problems there are with the mafia. And they don't want to hear it. No, nothing. They don't want to hear about it. How could these people talking of righteousness, of virtue, of values, have gone to that limit? Same in India. Hindu religion has gotten to dogs, absolutely to dogs. They are using the same black magic, the same old things which were done in Indian villages. They have come to the cities now, in the temples now. They are selling drugs which are of horrible nature to people who come there. Is that Hinduism? What about Islam? You see Islamic people, how they are quarreling among themselves. When Islam is surrendered, they are all fighting among themselves. Is that the religion which Muhammad Sahib preached? What about Buddhists? They are another nonsensical people, extremely materialistic. Every religion has gone to dogs. Why? Because they did not understand the main point. And the main point is you should be connected with God. You are to be born again. It's not just to give a certificate to yourself, I'm a born again, going about, I'm a born again. One lady from that came actually to beat me. I started laughing at her. This born again lady has come to beat me for what? You cannot certify yourself. The self-certificate or certificate from somebody is absurd. You have to have the powers of being born again. The born again have powers of their own manifesting. They are not just born again going around. Now what are the powers of a person who is born again? First of all, such a person is a tranquil, peaceful person. He becomes automatically righteous. Automatically. I don't have to tell you don't do this and don't do that. That's finished now with Moses. No more of that. As soon as you become the Spirit, you just give up all those things that are destructive for us. Automatically. No pressures are needed. No goading is needed. Nothing of the kind. Automatically, because the Spirit is the light, you get your enlightenment. Supposing I'm holding a snake in my hand and it's not light. Somebody tells me it's a snake, I'll say, no, it's a rope. I'm holding on to a rope. But when there is a light, I just drop it. In a simple way. Nobody has to tell me, I see the light and it drops off. In the same way, you are an enlightened person. You can make out what is truth and what is untruth. For example, you see someone, even from Indian jails, some people who have just come out of jails, they don't know what to do with themselves. So they walk out with saffron clothes to Germany, maybe to Australia also, and they become great Babajis here. Now these great Babajis sit on some of the important places in the city, and everybody is surrounding them, giving them money, giving them their lives, you see, all big talk of love going on and everything. Is he a realized soul or not? How will you find out? You don't know whether he is a realized soul or not. Because you are not at an absolute point. You are still in a relative understanding. Because this person is wearing this kind of a dress, is sitting very quietly there, so he must be a Babaji. You cannot recognize a person, whether a person is true or not. You can't recognize me either, whether I am telling you the truth or not. Unless and until you become that absolute being, you cannot make it out. Then what happens that when the Kundalini rises and pierces through your fontanelle bone area, then you also start feeling on your fingertips. These fingertips are nothing but the sympathetic nervous system centers which are indicative of the truth. If the person has got cool wind or cool breeze coming from that person, then he is a real one. If he doesn't have, then he is not. There are many persons who claim to be great, but they are not. Ultimately we find out and we are shocked the way they are. We don't know how is it our brain has failed, how is it our brilliance did not show clearly what was wrong with this gentleman, because we are not that. We have to accept humbly that we are still at a human awareness and we have to be at a spiritual awareness. That's the dimension we have to get, otherwise we cannot judge things properly. In this country now we have certain problems. In this whole world we have problems. Problems of atom bomb, every day you are hearing about this problem and that problem, all created by human beings. Imagine, intelligent, such good people have created problems for themselves, killing each other, preparing bombs and things like that, protecting each other. I mean, no animal does that. Only human beings are trying to protect themselves from each other. They are all the time worried who is going to attack them, not sure of themselves. The reason is they haven't reached that state of absoluteness. The time has come now. The time has come for you either to take to constructive working out of the problem or the destructive. By discussions, by arguments, by anything, you are not going to achieve anything unless and until there's a complete transformation in the human mind. And transformation is only possible when you become the spirit, because spirit is the universal being within you. And you become collectively conscious, means you start universally feeling. You just start feeling another person on your fingertips. And if you know how to correct it, you have corrected that person. This is only the play of love of God. It's so simple. Even children can do it. Many children, when they put their fingers in their mouth or their thumbs in their mouth, according to Mr. Freud, it's something nonsense. But according to us, they are suggesting what sentence you are catching. To understand your own children, you have to be a realized soul. Because the understanding is still not matured. Unless and until you become a realized soul, you are not a matured personality to judge anything. At that level, whatever you judge will have another point of view. You can take 10 small children who are realized souls. You have many like that. I type their eyes. Now ask them, what's the wrong with this particular person? They will all raise one finger, meaning this, or this finger. If this finger means that person feels guilty for nothing at all, is the Vishuddhi on the left-hand side, or the right means he talks too much and he has problems here. This knowledge becomes your own. This is one of the powers I have described to you, that you feel the collective consciousness within yourself. Whatever you achieve in your evolution is a living process. It is not a dead process. It's a living process by which your central nervous system can feel what is around you, what is within you. What you call the parasympathetic nervous system gets activated. And you can understand the parasympathetic, while if there are any doctors, they'll tell you that they don't know much about parasympathetic. Now, all these things happen to you, and even if you are a child, you can manage the show. The second power you get is that you can raise the kundalini of another person. Like one enlightened light can enlighten another person. But we cannot deal with people who are nasty, who are superficial, who are stupid, not meant for that. It is meant for people who are seekers, who are intense. They are the chosen ones, and they are called as seekers nowadays. They might be drug addicts, or they might be anything. Doesn't matter. They have been truly seeking, they have taken something wrong as right, or they might have done some mistakes. Doesn't matter. Everything is forgiven. They will get what they want, because they have been intensely seeking, truly wanting to be the spirit. This is the pure desire of the person that works out. Not a person who is just wanting it for the sake of some sort of a selfish or some sort of a power-oriented ideas. Now the third power one gets is this, that a person becomes absolutely dynamic. He works very hard, he never feels tired. He can do things which he has never done before. I know of somebody who has never done anything artistic. Suddenly he started painting. I know another one who has never known what is poetry because he is a chartered accountant. He has been dealing with money all the time. Suddenly he started writing poetry, that too in Urdu language, which is such a difficult thing. Such dynamism one develops. Apart from that, you develop a special feeling of oneness with others who are realized souls. Friendship and fraternity are such a rare quality that you have never seen such people. Even those people who go to fight in the war and all that, they don't have that understanding and pure relationship that you find among the people who are realized souls. There was a girl who had realization and she went to Sicily. Another one was a diplomat. She had a realization from Rome, she went to Sicily. And they were sitting in two corners of one restaurant. And they looked at each other and they felt the vibrations. And one got up from there and she asked her, do you feel this in your hands? Have you got realization from Sri Mataji? She said, yes, I just teacher. You cannot earn your living in the name of God. You cannot. It's a simple thing. It's sinful. Of course now, they told me when I travel, people have to spend money. I mean, I can spend myself. By God's grace, I'm all right. But supposing I was in the condition of Christ, then people would have paid for his air travel. It's all right. Doesn't matter. He need not pay for your salvation. Air travel you can pay, it's all right. But he doesn't need anything, does he? In the same way, I don't need anything. What I need is to see that many people get their realization that they become their spirit. By God's grace, it is working out very well in Australia. Australia, surprisingly, has worked out so well. And I'm sure that these things will work out today also here in Brisbane. The another good thing about Sahaja Yoga is that you settle down with good marriages. We have had 71 marriages last year. And out of them, 100% they are successful. And they have beautiful children. Very beautiful children. And very sweet lives they are leading together. It is surprising how from the muck of that nonsense that was there, the ideas of destroying the whole humanity, how these beautiful lotuses have come out. When I see that, I forget that there are so many more have to come out of it. It has to work out. There are so many who can receive it and become the lotus flowers to make the whole universe fragrant. It's a work of few years more, I think. I'm sure lots of people will get realization. But those who do not want, those who are adamant, those who do not want to have the blessings of God will be judged, because this is the day of judgment. I hope today most of you will get your realization. I would like some of you to ask me questions, but ask relevant questions and not just questions to attack me, because I have not come here for an election or anything. Just simple questions, yes. यहाँ तुम आ जाओ जरा. Just get Rajesh or someone. Can you get me some water? So many speeches, morning till evening. Aja. Thank you. Yes, please.
Realization of spirit, can they differ on some points? Do they ever conflict with each other, or sometimes
Okay.
Is it possible that those who teach about the spirit differ on different points?
In the beginning they do, little bit. Still they are not settled down. See, they have to mature in Sahaja Yoga, no doubt. But in the beginning they do little bit differ, but not much. In the beginning they do little bit sometimes differ, that I have seen, because one has to mature first of all. Once they are mature, they don't. They are very much in unison with each other. There's no difference at all.
Do you have to sit in any special posture while you're doing this, or can it be done at any time,
No.
in any form?
You see, in this Sahaja Yoga, you become the spirit. Then you don't have to meditate much. About 10 minutes or so is sufficient. And there's nothing much particular restriction or anything in it. You can sit in any pose you like. There is no restriction of any kind, because you become the spirit. Only thing is you have to get into thoughtless awareness. That's the first state is, which we call as nirvichara. For that state to achieve, you see, you have to sit down just and refuse to take any thoughts in your mind. Just say, not this, not this. So suddenly, because your kundalini is there already up there, so you become thoughtlessly aware. Once you become thoughtlessly aware, you can stay like that for about 5 minutes or so, just that's all. It's not much time is needed, because you are in meditation.
He says that from his previous experience, he finds that it is not possible to have a moment also where there is no thought.
It's true. You cannot. Till the kundalini is awakened, you can't have. You see, one thought rises and falls. Another thought rises and falls. There's a little space in between, which we call in Sanskrit as vilamba, very little spaces. Now what happened with kundalini awakening, both these thoughts become elongated, and this vilamba increases. So you will automatically have that. You won't have to worry about that.
Is the Kundalini awakening good for the children?
Excellent. They are the best. Children are the best. I mean, they have no complications, you see. So we are complicated. We are on the left side or the right side. We have complications. They are such balanced things. They are the best. Children are the best. The more, the merrier. I told them to bring all the children here. I would have been so happy in their company. They may be, most of them may be already born realized. You can't say. Yeah.
What exactly would be the question? What is the sensitivity of the children?
Yeah, how do you guard against it being hurt because they're
If they are sensitive, how would the children be guarded against being hurt by others?
Oh, they know themselves. They are very clever, and they are to be told how to take a guarding thing around their body and all that, and they do it. They are very sweet. Even little things they do with their hands, raising of their kundalini very sweetly, and they put immediately, as soon as they say a horrid man, they just start doing like that. They are very active. I must say they are very good.
Would that be teaching them to put a golden light?
Yes. What we call as bandhan means that it's a kind of a protective thing to your auras. You see, you put with your own hands, because the vibration starts flowing from your hand, then you just give it a bandhan, and the children do it immediately. They do it immediately. They are very quick. They are tremendous. They are the ones who protect. One father wanted to have his realization, couldn't do it. So he just got so frustrated, he came onto my feet. So this fellow came on my feet, but his child jumped on his back, and he started using him as a slide to take his kundalini upwards. It is so interesting the way children react.
How were you initiated into this work?
Yeah, correct.
How did you begin this? How were you initiated in this?
I was not initiated. I had this from my very childhood. You see, I know you would like to know about me. It's better first you know yourself. Then you will know about me better. All right? Yes.
Just from reading and doing other different things, I've always thought the realisation is that we have to either leave this plane or not.
Could you speak a little louder, please?
Once you get the realisation, when they talk about leaving this plane, you don't have to leave it straight away. I feel like, I want to learn something first. I'm here to learn something. I realise that first. I also want to
Trying. She's asked if you would leave the present plane of consciousness just by getting to the realization. She said that she has come here to learn, but it shouldn't happen that you lose your present plane of consciousness. Is that the question?
No, you don't lose it. No, nothing like that. No, nothing like that happens. Actually, what happens, that you get a additional new awareness within yourself. You are very much there, very much alert, absolutely aware, but you get an additional awareness which is of the spirit. You don't lose anything like that. Say now, for example, you have a brother. Now you have not very good feelings for him, say for example. When you get your realization, you see that he is a good boy, and you forgive him with your heart, and you love him, and you forget that what was wrong with him. You see the good points about it, because you become absolute. Your judgment differs. You laugh at yourself. What was wrong with him is no more. I was wrong at that time. You don't mind accepting that point. I was wrong, not now. I was. Another thing is, supposing you have a particular habit. And you can't get over it. It's impossible. Even if you want to, you cannot. Now you are so powerful, you don't look at it. You don't want to have it anymore. You just don't like it. I would say this way, that an animal can pass through a dirty lane. It doesn't feel the dirt or filth or anything, doesn't smell anything. But a human being cannot. In the same way, the realized soul doesn't like anything that is wrong. It becomes righteous automatically, virtuous automatically. And he's not asserting that on anyone. They are virtuous, they are righteous, and they live in their own glory. This is how the awareness takes a beautiful turn. Anything else, please? Beg pardon?
You believe in reincarnation?
Yes, of course, there is reincarnation, no doubt about it. And when Christ has said, I'll come again, that means there's reincarnation. Oh, but most important thing, what are you now? And what you get now is the most important. We shouldn't worry about what we were in last life. What does it matter? Yes, please.
Is your spirit one with your mental and physical being, or is it separate from it?
It enlightens all that. Now, can you say that this light that is enlightening us, is it one with us or without us? You see, the light is separate. The spirit is separate from us, no doubt. But it integrates everything. The reason is we see. Now, for example, you are sitting in an enlightened way. But supposing you are sitting in the darkness, you will be rushing each other, you would not know how you stand with each other. There is no integration. So the light on the physical, mental, emotional side of our life is complete and completely integrated. That's a good question.
When a person is enlightened, can you give it to someone else?
Of course, of course. When you are enlightened, you can enlighten another person. That's the power you get.
How does it happen?
It happens because you become that. Supposing there's one candle. Now this candle is not enlightened, all right? Now I enlighten this, then with this candle I can enlighten any other candle. So simple as that. It is so simple. You see, everything that is divine is simple. Everything that is human is complicated. Take it like that. It's extremely simple. What's it say?
In your discourse, you referred to the Kundalini as she. Is that because you are a woman?
No, she is. She is the female side. See, she's the Shakti, she's the female side. That's why the quarrel about women and men is all falsehood. There's nothing like that. They exist together. It's like the moon and the moonlight. It's like the sun and the sunlight. It's like the God and the Kundalini. It's like the word and the meaning.
Say that the Kundalini and
Yeah. It is all-pervading power, all right? Now, when the Kundalini rises, what she does, she enlightens our subtler side of our nerves, our brain and everything. She enlightens. And by that, we start feeling it. It's the enlightenment that we get because of her connection with the all-pervading power. It exists, already it exists. But you cannot feel it normally. When she rises, then your nerves are so enlightened that you can feel it. All right? You might be already getting it. I think so. All right, should we have it now? All right, again, one more question.
I heard stories that there was a danger of Kundalini around. Why
I have heard that there are stories that
Yeah.
it is dangerous to arouse the Kundalini. Why
Yeah.
are there such stories?
The stories are because people who are not authorized have tried to raise the Kundalini. The person who has to raise the Kundalini has to be authorized by the divine. Such a person must have that pure character. These people just tried to raise the Kundalini, and the deity on the last chakras, what I call the chakra of innocence, is the one which gets annoyed. And that's how they get into trouble. As I told you, this is the chakra looks after. Those people who are not authorized to do it. Or we can say, in a very gross way, one can explain this way, that a person who doesn't know about electricity and puts his fingers into the plug, he gets a shock. But it's much worse than that. The persons who do not have a proper character or a proper life and tries these tricks gets into trouble. Not by the Kundalini, but by the deity which is protecting its chastity. These stories are there, and naturally such people should, they give these stories, sensational stories, and people like it, and many people follow them. I mean, it is so dangerous to be following all those wrong things. Oh, I must have given this Kundalini awakening to thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and nobody had any problem. She's your mother. And as your mother has given you birth, taking all the pains herself, she takes up all the pains. She doesn't give you any trouble at all. At the most, you might feel a little tingling or something. Maybe if somebody is possessed, then he starts a little bit jumping also. If there's a possessed man, he starts a little bit jumping. But so far, we didn't have any funny experiences of that kind. TM people start jumping, I've seen that. Or people from this black magic, they start jumping before me. Also these Rastafarians, they started jumping. There's some people who do that way, but they are all possessed. They are not normal people. But they jump for a while, you can bring them round. It's not so difficult.
What happens to the spirit after you die on this earth?
We'll talk about it later. It's a very long subject. You see, the spirit, when you die, has different diverse type of existence. After we die, depends on, if you are a realized soul, you are a free bird. Do what you like. But if you are not, then you are different categories. And according to your categories, you live and exist. But I think that's a very long subject, and some other time I'll let you know about it. All right? Yes.
I don't know why I'm so reluctant to be enlightened.
What is he saying?
He says, I don't know why I am so reluctant to be enlightened.
Firstly, you have a liver problem, sir, and lot of heat in the body. If you put your left hand on here, the heat will come down. No, left hand, the right side. You have a lot of heat, yes, and the reluctance is there. That's why. The liver is the horrid stuff, you see. That makes all the problems. Put your right hand like this and liver makes you think all the time. Anything else?
Similar question, what makes your feeling of great sorrow and distress and suffering, in what's vital to other people in the world, and how people see each other?
क्या कह?
What makes for suffering and misery in this world, and why do people cheat each other?
Why do I feel great distress and sorrow and
Yeah.
that cruelty and suffering around me?
That
He feels the distress and sorrow.
this is crude. But you should see this is human beings treating each other like that, isn't it? What to do? That's what the question I ask you. You see all this stupidity, why is it there? It is there because they are not the spirit as yet. They need transformation. All of them need transformation. But supposing tomorrow Hitler comes and asks me for transformation, I said, I'm sorry, next life, we'll see about it. Yes. जोर से नहीं बोलते सुनाई नहीं क्या करें
Is taking out of the stress from other people. Do you get it on your body, and does it come in as pain to you?
No, nothing. I'm not taking out anything, you see, it's just a state of mind which becomes enlightened by the spirit. You just become relaxed, that's all. It's in your own doing. Supposing now this is on and this is off in the same way. But it is nothing that I have to do about it. See, it's within you, just works out within you. And the Kundalini itself, when she rises, she relaxes you automatically. So why will it hurt me?
She was asking that would it hurt her if she took on the stresses of other people, worked on other people?
No. In the beginning, I would say you should not do that, because in the beginning you don't know how to do it properly. But after you are mature, nothing can happen. You see, like something which is not yet matured can take the imprints. But once it is matured, it's perfectly all right. First you have to mature yourself. It takes about a month to mature yourself. Then it's all right. What?
Why did the stressed person become that? Is it because of the chakras being blocked?
Yes, very much. Very much. Blocked or imbalanced, especially imbalance. Imbalance is very much. Because the chakras are like this, supposing, all right? Now, if you push it too much this side, there's an imbalance. And this chakras become blocked here. Now, this could be on the left side or right side. Any side, it can work out. This is due to imbalances.
Sorry, sir. Could you speak just a little louder? Because
He said one is material and one is spiritual. While I'm young, should I use my life to concentrate more on my spiritual research or my material?
the question is that I have a search for the material and a search for the spiritual. But while I am young, should I use it for the search for the material or the search for the spiritual?
If you get the spirit, you get the material automatically. The whole material is controlled by the spirit. It's very surprising how you get it. You enter into the realm of God. You'll be amazed that in England there's such a lot of joblessness, you can say. People don't have jobs at all. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Unemployment. See, all these both sides don't know. Unemployment. But not a single Sahaj Yogi is unemployed. Not a single Sahaj Yogi is unemployed. The other day, one gentleman was to come from Paris to Australia for a particular seminar. And he thought he wanted to come because this is the other side of the world and all that. He was quite excited. But he didn't have money. And suddenly, he got the money, which he was to get for 8 years. Suddenly he got the money, he's here. All such miracles work out. From Australia, I'll tell you, one miracle was most interesting. There was a little girl, she wrote a letter to me, Mother, I want to come and see you in India. But I don't have so much money to come. She and her mother, they both wanted to come. And they had a fete in the school, and she had taken a trinket for selling. And when the teacher saw, she said, this is gold. She said, gold, yes. Better take it to your mother. And when they went to the jeweler, the amount was the same as they would need to go to India. So in so many ways we are helped. You don't know, the realm of God is very different. So efficient, works so fast. We haven't entered into that realm. अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ.
Did you want to?
How do we become aware if there are blockages and imbalances, and if so, what is the method of correction?
Yeah.
You talked about the imbalances or blockages in the chakras. How do we become aware of them, and how do we correct them?
That's what you'll have to learn. It's very simple. See, once you get your realization, you'll have to come to our centers and they'll tell you how to do it. It's very simple. There are few methods by which you can just clear them out. But you have to come to our center, you see. You have to respect your self-realization, and you have to little bit... Because people, you see, to them is like buying Coca-Cola in a bar shop is not realization. It's the epitome of your evolution. It's the highest thing, and has to be respected that way. They come to my lectures, all right, but they don't try to work out their realization. You have to work it out, and you have to become masters. You have to become your own gurus. All of you can. One more.
The question is that when talking about realization, Is it that when you get it, you keep it, or could you lose it? Is it? Or just glimpses of it?
No, you see, the thing is, if you have realization, you have to look after it, nourish it, and develop it, just like a little plant. You see, when you have a little plant, you have to develop it. Once it becomes a tree, then many come for the shelter under that tree, isn't it? In the same way, you have to look after it. It may not diminish, but it won't have much effects, and it will be always in a dangerous position. So best thing is to make it absolutely mature. It hardly takes any time, any effort, any money. One has to know how to do it. What's he saying?
Why have the churches not told us about this?
That was not the time, sir. Imagine, Christ lived only for 3.5 years, in the sense that for his spiritual undertakings. He was allowed only for 3.5 years to live like that. Churches do not know it, but even Christ. Imagine, for 4 years I was struggling with 7 English boys and girls to give them realization. He did quite a good job, I must say, still. But that was not the time. Christ actually came on this chakra, is the Agya chakra. That was his time to show the way of resurrection. That was his life, and that's what he's done. But the churches have missed the point. Churches have missed the point, and they will go on missing the point, because their main interest, if it is how to make money, is not good, or how to convert people is not good.
Are there a lot of holy people in the church?
There could be many people who are very simple, who believe in Christ, who go to churches because they believe that they'll be saved. So all of them will be saved, no doubt. They are very simple people. They give such a lot of money to the church, and they give such a dedication to the church. Though they are wrongly placed, but they will be saved, no doubt about it. They all have to be saved. But there are people who are just making money out of churches, trying to make an organization of it. They are trying to convert people, make a political end out of it. Then such a thing won't work out. That's not proper. Churches should only deliver the goods of giving realization to people. That's what a church is for. They will learn, I'm sure. They will have to pick up. Some of them will have to pick up. But if they are money-oriented or power-oriented, I just don't know. They are more interested in the kings, in the prime ministers, princesses and all that. I just don't understand. They have nothing to do with God.
Why is there a need for judgment when some people make progress and some don't progress? And why do others judge that? Why is a particular time of judgment? Why is there a particular time of judgment?
It has to be some time, my child, for judgment. And this is a particular time, because what we call is the worst time. Because the man is so much in confusion. The most difficult time for human beings to exist is modern times. What we call is the Ghor Kali Yuga. And this was the time when it had to happen. Otherwise man won't take to God seriously, perhaps, maybe. Maybe our forefathers didn't have this stress and strain and they didn't want to relax or think of God. They were quite happy with their agricultural work that they were doing. But now it is we have reached to that point. Everything has to come to its boiling point. And now this is the time for the world to get its results, either this way or that way. What she say?
Why is there a time of judgment now? Because if there is reincarnation, they will keep going back and coming till there is a change.
I've already told you this is the time when the people are most confused and they have to take a decision. That's why this is the judgment time. Either they will go to hell or to heaven. All right? If that makes you all right. Heaven is within us.